I would like to acknowledge the presence of our speaker of the day, Advocate CA Ved Jain. A huge round of applause for the past president of ICAI. In the absence of our chairperson and vice chairperson, as they are gone to the airport to receive the past presidents, I now request and invite our executive team to kindly come forward and extend a floral welcome to our eminent speaker. Also, may I request...
Sir, yes. Wait.
As a mark of the... Now I... Ladies and gentlemen, I request everyone to kindly rise in respect as we play the ICI motto song.
Jayesha Sutteshu Jagrati Jayesha Sutteshu Jagrati
Now I request executive team. Now it's time to begin what we have all been waiting for, the technical session. Let us remove all the hurdles between you, our fabulous listeners, and spectacular speaker of the day, Advocate CA Ved Jain. To formally introduce our guest, I invite CA Neetu Bhatia ji to come forward and do the honors.
A rank holder in CA exams, he holds degrees in science, economics and law. He served as the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountancy of India in 2008, where he played a pivotal role in enhancing global recognition for Indian CA qualification. A prolific writer and multilingual speaker, he has contributed significantly to text literature and public discourse on financial matters. He has had leadership roles in major public and private sector organizations, including NALCO, PTC India, DLF, and MCX Clearing Corporation. He currently practices as an advocate specializing in direct taxes and is actively involved in policy advisor roles for the Government of India. Thank you.
Now with great pride and anticipation, I request Ved Jain sir to please come to the dais and begin his deliberation. Sir, the mic is all yours now.
Chairperson of Amritsar branch in absentia, and I see Vice Chairman also in absentia. For Secretary and other office bearers. My sincere compliments to the chairperson and her entire team. This is a program organized at my behest. She was kind enough when I told her that I am coming and I want to meet the members of the Amritsar branch. Despite her busy schedule being all past president here. I believe everyone is aware today, tomorrow if there is a past president meet in Amritsar, and if not, at least 25 past presidents are in Amritsar today. 6 were in my flights. I said the flight is too heavy today, with 6 past presidents being there. And one of the reasons which I told other past presidents, did you notice when the flight was landing, it didn't land and it took off and again then landed. Mainly because of the weight of the past president which was there all day. Friends, I have very pleasant and sweet memories of the Amritsar branch visit my villa. When I was just sitting on dais, I was just wondering at what time, first time I came to Amritsar here to address. And if I recall it correctly, somewhere in 99 or 2000, I came for a budget talk. And that was organized by ITT-WAR, joint meeting was there at that time. And my lecture was there when light has gone off, so supply has gone. And I have addressed that meeting in Amritsar without mic being active there at that time. I still remember. And thereafter many visits, and particularly one visit I came in 2003, if I'm correct, somewhere in October, November, as a part of an election too. When I was contesting the election for the central councils and then one meeting, and I had the occasion to address the members there. And I have the very pleasant and sweet memory of that meeting also. Because when you are a candidate, you are questioned like anything. What is your agenda, what you want to do and how you can to do it. And I still recall a very senior member asking that so many candidates are visiting Amritsar, everyone is looking for a vote, what for you are here and what you want to do it. And my only simple question was here, that I am one of the candidates like any other candidate, and I am before you with only one suggestion and one request. If you feel I am the appropriate, I am one of the candidates, all are doing good for the institute, they will do all good, I am one of them. And I can only one assurance is my agenda, if you are asking why agenda, I don't have my one personal agenda, my agenda is what your agenda is there. That's my agenda, I take it that way I carry on. So now I can see that all your members in such large number here. And the topic is, what I was told is search and seizure, the new procedure of assessment. Income tax is such an act, now it is almost in India 164 years. 65 I think now it will be celebrating its 125th century anniversary also. And we are looking at the door of having a new act now in 2025. And this act has its origin way back after the Indian First Freedom War. And at that point of time, the person who introduced this income tax in India, I just imagine what would have been his thought, that what it will turn out to be. I don't think he would ever dreamt that even after 165 years, so many suited, booted people will be discussing about income tax, which he is just introducing at that point of time. And that, if you, some of my old members may be aware, when in 1860-61 budget was being prepared, it used to be British government at that time, Parliament, the budget fell short of 3 lakh rupees. And the initial proposal of income tax was any person earning income more than 200 rupees a year, any person earning income more than 200 rupees a year, he need to pay a tax of 3 pi of a rupee as a tax. And 3 pi does not mean 3 paisa of 100 paisa. It was 16 annas, 4 paisas, and then pies. So that was the matter on that issue. Less than 1% that tax was there. And now it is one of the most important contributor to the total exchequer or budget, which is roughly 51 lakh crore rupees, and out of this 24 lakh odd crore rupees come from this income tax only. And to the surprise is this 24 lakh, more than 95% is voluntarily contributed. Less than 5% is the contribution which comes by way of the scrutiny assessment, reassessment, search, seizure, etc. Less than 5% comes out. But still, it is an important tool in the hand of the government, hand of the administration, that in search and seizure. But the most interesting aspect is that what was good yesterday is bad today, and what is bad today will become good tomorrow. This is exactly the income tax, this search and seizure provision. Some of the senior members may be aware that 1995 we have experimented with this block assessment concept. And at that time it was a 6 years period which was introduced, and the reasoning given was that income is spread over a different year, it needs to be worked out, difficult to make different assessment at different point of time. And that's why we are introducing this concept of a block assessment in 1995. We improved in 1996, then we extended the period to 6 to 10 in 2001, and in 2003 it was abolished with an explanation that this act has, this provision has become almost an amnesty. And that's why we need to come out with a new provision, and people are taking undue liberty that at the time of search they just file the return, pay 60% tax and get out of it. And in 2003 we introduced 153A. That's another year-wise assessment, but only in respect of, and then we had all the benefit of Kabul Chawla, Vichar, Bildwell, etc. But it lived a life of almost 18 years. In 2021, it also got abolished, and then we had a new Act of 148, and which survived less than 4 years. 1st April 21 to 31st August 2024, that was the period which survived it. And now from 1st September 2024, we are back to what was in 1995. And surprisingly, if you read the explanation for introducing this in July 2024 budget, the speech of the finance minister, the memorandum explaining the budget provision is verbatim same what was said by Dr. Manmohan Singh in 1995 when he introduced this block assessment. Same reasoning, same wording. So what was good at that time became bad again, became good now. Why I have said this before coming it, that whatever we are thinking good today may not live its life longer. I am still doubtful that this new provision which has been introduced, which virtually we call an amnesty scheme, probably may not live the life, may have a longer life. Its life I don't see more than 3, 4, 5 years. At the end of the day, this is going to be replaced with some other stringent provision of income tax. But Act is Act, and in interest of income tax, I always say, is always there. And I normally use in my lecture one Hindi film song, which I say that खुदा भी आसमां से जब जमीन पर झांकता होगा, ये इनकम टैक्स किसने बनाया सोचता है. That's one again. All over India, so many tax experts, consultants, judges, lawyers, chartered accountant, all are busy. But still nobody is able to find out answer to any question. I will not say all questions, any question. I am reading this income tax when I joined CA, Chartered Accountancy, way back on 15 September 1973. Before that, I was not a commerce graduate, I am a science graduate, so I didn't have the chance to read that information. And in the last, now it's almost 52 years, day in, day out, I have not read any book other than the income tax. And still, anybody ask me any question, I can't answer it unless I pick up this income tax, look at this, and then I say, in my opinion, probably this may be correct. Nobody can give an assurance this will be correct, may be correct. That's a position of law. And exactly we are going to discuss on this point. And when we look at this provision, I will be speaking it, some of the provision I would just like to show you on the slide, why I am using the slide only, just to make you understand that some of the complexity which you find. I was thinking I should speak extempo, but then I thought that unless I show you the words, probably something may be missed out that relation. One thing is very, I think, good and I think pleasant is, when in July 2024 the budget was presented, the reopening period was reduced from 6 years to 5 years. 148, now it is 5 years from the end of the assessment year, which means 6 assessment years can be reopened now. To align with this, now search block period is also exactly of 6 years. 1 year is the search year and then 6 years behind it. Those are the 6 years which are to be covered that's a block period. But now there is this block period, there will be only one assessment, that is a block assessment in totality. 6 years plus period of the search. Now the challenge which the department has is that how this block period is to be computed. And what has been the change which has happened as compared to the earlier provisions. That's why I just wanted to show the slide if this is provision. Now this is the current definition which is there. If you can look at the block period, mean the period comprising previous year relevant to 6 assessment year, previous year in which the search was initiated. Now the word is search was initiated and the earlier was the search was conducted. Now somebody may ask a question, is there any initiated and conducted? And now on that part, there are 2 judgments which have clarified what is the meaning of initiative. If you look at the Karnataka High Court judgment in the case of Wipro Finance, they say the search is initiated because at that point of time, a dispute has arisen whether the search get initiated at a time when the search saying that an order passed by the assessing officer of the block period. Earlier it was said that this will be directly appealable to the appeal. It was said that this order will be an order with the approval of the additional commissioner, but will be appealable to the assessee contested. Now this is interesting. The assessee contested that this search has initiated, that the search was initiated only after the 1st January 2006 because the search had been carried out consideration before the Delhi High Court in the case of MDLR. And there, now rightly or wrongly, the Delhi High Court has taken a view little different than the Karnataka High Court. Though they agree that initiation and there should be a search warrant, etc. and Panchanama, but in particular facts of the case they say that initiation is not necessary with a search warrant. And they say that the moment search warrant is signed, it can be said that the search has been initiated. Now I believe this controversy will again come to haunt. Another interesting change which is there, you will notice the green part, the last part is ending on the date of the execution of the last of the when the last search warrant is executed. Meaning thereby, even the period from when the search is being carried out until the local, bank local, etc. get reopened, those will also be covered in the search period for that particular period. Now, this will again create 26 March, some local are sealed and those local are opened on 10th April. Now, in this case, 8 assessment year will get caught up. Because initiated, but it will end on the day when the search has been concluded. So, meaning thereby 25. So, 1st April 24 to 10th April 25 will be the search period entirely. Everyone's mind may be agitating on this point, what is the meaning of the undisclosed income. Now here again, now this is the meaning of undisclosed income. Now taking care of preceding litigation, etc., the legislature, or I say the income tax department has taken, is claimed under this act, which is found to be incorrect. Now the word used is incorrect in respect of the block period. Now this is very wide definition, and earlier word was false, which is found to be false. Now there is a lot of difference between the word incorrect or false. Incorrect can be for any reason. even a mistake can be incorrect. You committed a mistake, you claim an expenditure which is incorrectly allowed, which is not correct. Now on that basis, this is the path. But my still opinion is that this definition will have a restricted meaning. It will be difficult for department to say that anything which is beyond what has been found during the course of the search will still be covered within the definition. Though in computation provision, as you read 158 BB2, the last word says, and any other material or information as are either available with the assessing officer or come to his notice during the course of assessment. This is to overcome the difficulty which the revenue is facing with Kabul Chawla and the Amritsar belt. Now they are saying not only the information which is unearthed during the course of the search, but also the information which the assessing officer otherwise have it available, or he is able to get it through the assessment proceeding or the block assessor proceeding. But my view is that if definition of undisclosed income has been given, and 158 BB2 falls in a computation provision. Now computation provision cannot go beyond the definition provision. And definition provision very clearly says, based on the entry in the books of account which have not been or would not have been disclosed. So still you have to give a meaning to these two words, which have not been, would not have been disclosed. And if I give a meaning to this, meaning thereby that you go for a search and then you find it out that something is there which have not been disclosed, then only, and you have to correlate with the search also. So it will be still a very large, I think, a issue on that part. Jurisprudence has to develop, and depending upon the facts of one particular case somewhere else, you see the judgment which is delivered and which sometimes goes in assessor's favor. It is not because of sometimes because of the interpretation in assessor's favor. It is because the facts of that case are so strong that judges feel that interpretation should be in this manner so that it favors the assessee, because the facts are supporting it. But in case the facts are adverse, even though interpretation of the law may be in favor of assessee, it can go against the assessee. It is more basically because judges are human beings, they also get carried away with the facts. And if they find a person is a cheater or he has done something wrong, even they try to make out a case of legal point, they throw him out. The judgment which I was talking about, Wipro Finance and MDLR on initiation, MDLR was such a dirty case that court said so much material has been found in search, so much and you are still insisting on the word initiation. So that's why court distinguished on particular facts. We don't agree with the Karnataka High Court. That's the issue which is there on that part. Now here also, I am still of the opinion that given a good case, undisclosed income, because now see the question. A search is carried out and nothing is found in the search. Absolutely nothing is found. Now as per law, notice can be issued to him, and notice is issued. An assessing officer picks up the 6 assessment years and he says, now I will verify your deduction under section 80IA. I will verify your deduction under 10A. I will verify whether this item of expenditure is capital or revenue. And then he makes addition and he says this is the undisclosed income because I am using the word which is found to be incorrect. Which is found to be incorrect. And then I say nothing was found in the search. He says where is the need? I am reading this word or any other material information as are either available with the assessing officer or come to his notice during the course. He says it is coming to my notice during the assessment. I am looking at this. This is the expenditure you incurred. Now if such type of case comes up before the court, I am reasonably sure the court will read down this provision. They say nothing doing. In the absence of any material being available in the search, you cannot touch upon any other item. I will, time permitting, I will take you to other provisions where this issue will come back again on that aspect on that one. Now this is the meaning which undisclosed income, because there can be a situation now because the law permits to make an assessment the moment a search is carried out at 6 years, irrespective thereof. Now the problem is, first the word is total undisclosed income. You may include in that an item which has been properly disclosed and an item on which there can be two opinions. There can be an item where that item has been examined in the 143.3 scrutiny assessment, because it does not make any difference, because 6 period block period will automatically get covered. And the example which I gave in case a search is on 2nd April 2025, the 6 preceding assessment year automatically get reopened and all, you have to file the return of income. Now assessing officer applying this definition can also tinker with whatever you have done, 143.3, whatever has happened on that part. Now here I believe in case at the initial stage, some of the issue comes up, you cannot do it, probably the definition of undisclosed income may get read down and not to that extent on that part.
और जैसे रूटीन असेसमेंट होती है, एक चीज चेक करें, स्क्रूटनी करें और जो भी मिलता है वो उसको ऐड करें, तो देयर इज द नीड फॉर द डेफिनेशन।
I do agree, but the problem is कि क्या होता है कि कभी-कभी वो कहते हैं ना कि एक आदमी को कभी वरदान मिल गया कि जिस चीज को भी हाथ लगाओगे वो सोना हो जाएगी। अब वो रोटी भी खाने लगे तो वो सोना हो जाती है, वो खाएगा रोटी नहीं खा सकता, वो हाथ लगा तो सोना हो गए वो। तो क्या होता है, इच्छा होती है ऐसे सब चीज को इकट्ठा कर लूं और वो इकट्ठा करने में नुकसानदायक साबित हो। नाउ if I have read down this provision for the last 3-4 days when I was preparing for this lecture, my reaction and impression is it is such a horoscope which department itself will find it difficult to pick it up or protect it. Now the moment we go down later on the provision, you will find not only this undisclosed income. Now you are saying I am assessing total undisclosed income. Now how you will get out of these word of total undisclosed income even after definition? Because when you have assessed a person, you have accepted it. There are years where you have not tinkered with it. There can be issue which can be a legacy issue. You cannot say these are undisclosed. At the end of the day, as I said in the beginning, the definition of undisclosed income has to be read along with the judgment of Amritsar Bidwell, where in case no incriminating material or nothing adverse has been discovered during the course of the search, then probably it will be very difficult to bring that income under this block assessment, because the tax rate goes up from 30% to 60% automatically. Now, let me go through, then I will come back to this point of it. Now, how it has to be computed? How this income is to be computed? Now, block assessment, because it is undisclosed income. Now, what the law says, you will file a return. How it is? Whatever your income has been assessed in these 6 years, whatever has been assessed. In case it has not been assessed, whatever the return you have filed, you have declared the income. Now there can be a situation, as I said, when search is carried out on 2nd April 25 or say 2nd June 25, your return for assessment year 25-26 is not filed. Then they say whatever the income as per the books of account maintained in the normal course of business up to 31st March 25, that will also be excluded. Fourthly, it says current period. There can be a current period also, meaning thereby 1st April to date of search initiation. You cannot say it is undisclosed because regular books of accounts are maintained. Otherwise, if you say this is also undisclosed, your regular income will be there, that will be excluded. Now, as I said, the block period is not only initiation, the block period is from initiation to last Panchanama, local operation. They say from the date of start till the regular conclusion, whatever is the income pertaining to that period which is recorded in the normal code. Meaning thereby, even if the search is going on, whatever the transaction you are doing, if you record it, that will also be excluded. And then there are certain income which are certain people which are not liable to file return, as it is in the non-resident. If you have an income like interest etc., where TDS has been deducted, or a senior citizen, there is super senior citizen. So in those cases, that income will be excluded, and the rest of the income will be treated to be undisclosed income. Now this is the what we mean. Now this raises very important issue.
Excuse me, sir.
Meaning thereby, whatever is recorded in the regular books of account will get out of it. Now, in my example of say 2nd June 2025, you have books of account from 1st April to 31st March 25. Whatever is recorded in the books of account will go out. From 1st April 25 to 2nd June 25, when the search has initiated, that will also get out. And then search is concluded say on 10th of June. So from 2nd to 10th, whatever is, that will also get excluded. अब हमारा काम जो है टैक्स प्लानिंग में आगे काम करता है कि भाई बिजनेसमैन कैसे फायदा उठाएगा इसका. If a person is recording number 1 and number 2 income in regular books of account during this period, a return is not filed, it will go out of the undisclosed income. It will not be within the meaning of undisclosed income. I was talking to Rohit today, when I was preparing this slide, etc. My office asked me, ये कैसे possible हो सकता है बुक्स में? मैंने कहा एक सिंपल सी एक हलवाई की शॉप का बात करें. हल्दीराम सेल करता है कैश में. अब आज की डेट में अगर कोई इनकम छुपानी है तो क्या करेगा? सेल को सप्रेस करते हैं, नंबर 2 की साइड में रखते हैं. तो मैंने कहा जो पीरियड करंट चल रहा है, जो पिछले जिसके रिटर्न नहीं है, उसको सबको बुक्स में रिकॉर्ड करके रखते हैं. क्या होगा? वो इनकम नहीं आएगी. अनडिस्क्लोज्ड इनकम की डेफिनेशन में नहीं आ सकता, बिकॉज दैट इनकम इज.
जिस टाइम पे सर्च चल रही है जहाँ वो है, उस टाइम पे वो रिकॉर्ड में कैसे लेके आए? उस टाइम पे मेरा कोई
हम ये अज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि सर्च के टाइम में फैक्ट्री की प्रोडक्शन रुक जाएगी, सेल रुक तक वो रुकती नहीं है. अगर सर्च चल रही है तो शॉप में माल तो बिकता ही रहता है, 2-4 घंटे के लिए रुकता है. फिर बहुत सारे केस में सर्च सस्पेंड होकर 15 दिन बाद दोबारा शुरू होती है. उसमें दुकान तो चल ही रही है, जिसकी दुकान पे काम है, फैक्ट्री में प्रोडक्शन चल रही है, तो वो पीरियड की टर्नओवर तो रिकॉर्ड करेगा ना बुक्स के अंदर, वो ट्रांजेक्शन तो आएगी. बट माई आइडिया इज ओनली दैट now this will become too complex an issue to exclude, because not I use the word hodgepodge. Now they say for search year whatever is the undisclosed income, that will form part of the block assessment, but regular assessment will be separately done. जो बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट के बेसिस पर असेसमेंट होगी वो सेपरेटली होगी. तो इसका मतलब ये होगा कि एक साल जो सर्च ईयर है उसकी तो 2 असेसमेंट गारंटेड है. अब इसके बाद एक और प्रॉब्लम आ गई. लॉ ये कहता है कि 2 जून 2025 को अगर आपकी वो हो रही है, सर्च हुई है, तो जो पेंडिंग असेसमेंट उस डेट को है वो अबेट करते हैं. अब 2 जून 25 को आपकी 23-24 की असेसमेंट ऑन है. स्क्रूटनी आई थी 143(2) का, जून 2024 में नोटिस आ सकता था, वो आया और वो चल रहा है. और जो जून आपने जो रिटर्न भरी 24-25 की, जिसकी लास्ट डेट 30 जून 25 है नोटिस इशू करने की, उसका नोटिस भी 31 मई को आ गया है, वो बनने. नाउ दैट विल अबेट हो जाएगी, और अबेट हो जाएगी तो ये भी अब ब्लॉक का पार्ट बनेगी. करते अब नॉर्मल एडिशन डिसअलाउंसेस का क्या होगा उसमें? सपोज करो हर साल कोई डिसअलाउंसेस हो रहे थे और इस साल भी हो जाएंगे. अब लॉ तो ये मैंडेट करता है कि मैंने जो रिटर्न भरी है वो मानूंगा, बाकी को तो आपको मैं डिस्क्लोज करूंगा. Assessing contention is that nothing has been found during the course of search. How you can say it is undisclosed income? अबेट आपने की है और ये अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम से बाहर निकल गई तो डिपार्टमेंट का राइट टू स्क्रूटनी वो खत्म हो गया. वो नॉर्मल एडिशन भी नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि वो तो अबेट होगी, उसका प्रोसेस ही खत्म हो गया. किसी का 147 चल रहा है उस पीरियड का, वो अबेट हो गया. 147 आई कैन अज्यूम कि भाई चलो अनडिस्क्लोज आपका पहले ही एलिगेशन लगा हुआ है. अब उसमें एक सवाल आया कि 147 के आपने इनकम में रिटर्न में खुद डिस्क्लोजर करके टैक्स पे कर दिया, उसका क्रेडिट कहाँ से लाएंगे? वो नहीं. नाउ मिसिंग पार्ट इज वेयर दिस इज गोइंग आउट, नोबडी नोज इट आउट. तो आई वाज जस्ट ट्राइंग टू, क्या होता है जब असेसमेंट का प्रोसीजर है तो यू टू रन थ्रू इट. जैसे होता है ना कि भाई आप फंक्शन में जा रहे हैं, यहाँ से यहाँ जाएंगे, यहाँ जाएंगे, जो आएंगे, पता कोई कि पार्ट में बीच में मिसिंग हो गया. अबेट तो कर दिया आपने, अब 2 जून 25 या 2 जुलाई 25 को 2 स्क्रूटनी असेसमेंट होने में दोनों वेट हो गए और असेसी की कुछ और मटेरियल मिला नहीं है किसी भी तरह से। नाउ द इश्यू विल अराइज कि जो नॉर्मल एडिशन भी उसमें होनी चाहिए या होती थी, whether these will be considered to be undisclosed income or not. As I said कि अगर ऐसा केस अगर कोर्ट में आता है तो कोर्ट will definitely say it will never be undisclosed income, and the meaning which you have given and definition which you have given in 158B, subclause B, has to be read in the manner only relating to the material found in the court. There is some material found pertaining to that here, where material is incriminating, then definitely those addition can be made, but not other additions will be there. And the major challenge will be why the assessee should suffer a higher rate of 30 to 60%. अभी when we go next, अभी इतना आसान नहीं है, assessee को भी फायदा हो सकता है। कभी-कभी सर्च का फायदा assessee को भी होगा, जब आपको बताता हूँ। ये मैं पॉइंट छोड़ देता हूँ। अब एक इंटरेस्टिंग इशू हो रहा है। सर्च हो गई तो सर्च के बाद जो मटेरियल हैंडओवर हो गया असेसिंग ऑफिसर को, उसको नोटिस इशू करना। व्हाट वी यूज्ड टू रीड अर्लियर इन 158 BC एंड 153A, असेसिंग ऑफिसर ऑटोमेटिकली 6 साल के नोटिस इशू करते हैं। असेसिंग ऑफिसर इन दिस केस will issue a notice to file a return within 60 days with a power to him to extend the period by 30 days in appropriate cases. ये रिटर्न फाइल करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगा within a due date, where assessee can disclose his income himself, undisclosed income कितनी आती है, उसके benefit I will just take you to later on. But most important thing is this notice has to be issued by the assessing officer after obtaining prior approval from the additional committee. A person has been searched, there is no issue that search has not taken place, and still for block assessment, assessing officer has to get an approval from the additional committee. Now, two issues arises. If prior approval is required, then assessing officer has to write something in the file. He has to record a satisfaction that why I want to issue notice. If that be so, incriminating material is must for getting an approval, otherwise approval for what approval is coming out. Will he write a search has been carried out, no material has been found, but I want to issue a notice for the property. Is it an administrative approval? Not required. Because automatically the moment search you can issue it, but the law mandate that prior approval of the additional commission will be required. I believe this apparently appears to be a drafting error. This requirement should have been for a person other than the search person. When after recording a satisfaction, then he should get a approval that other person, this belongs to other person. But in a normal case of an assessment, a search also, a person has been searched, notice should be automatic. There should not be any need of a prior approval on that part. And this return thereafter has to be filed in 60 days. And one thing which is very positive about this is when you file the return, you have to disclose the undisclosed income. But when I compute this undisclosed income, now there is a challenge. I hope some of you had the occasion to go through the Form B which has been notified by the CBDT in April 2025 with the block return. You couldn't see it. Now the law, the return mandates that you have to give, what type of detail you have to give. I'm deleting other part of the return, just I tried to make you on this issue. And that's why I, for the first time, I'm using this laptop for the purpose of presentation, just to make you understand. Now this is the, one of the part of the part C, which says that you have to disclose the return in the return year-wise income. First column is important. What is undisclosed income of assessment year? 6 means 6th year assessment year. 0 is the search year, and A1 is the first assessment year prior to search year. A2 is second, third, fourth is. If you see this column, these are the column 6 column. You have to declare undisclosed income, and then of course you have to see the आपकी assessment हो गई है तो उस साल की income कितनी है? If assessment has not happened and you have filed the return, how much it is there? And if the period for filing the return has not expired, then what is the income of that year as per your books of account? And then next column, current assessment year, search year, initial 1st April to the date of search, and then last authorization. This is the simple part. But despite saying that it will be an assessment of a block period, assessee will be required to inform that how much is the income for each of the year. When the tax rate is same and we agree that it is difficult to compute income year-wise, that's why we are bringing block assessment concept, and then, but it is not stopping here. Then you have to tell how much is the salary income, how much is the income from house property which you have concealed, how much is the profit and gains, and capital. Now take a case, you are trading in shares. Allegation is, it is business usage is capital gain. What will happen here? If you declare capital gain and usage is business income, both are in 60%. One need to be very careful now. I have recently faced a case, very interesting case has come up. This provision was introduced on 1st September 2024. A company came out with an IPO in the year 2023. IPO. And some of you may be aware, then in IPO when the promoter has got the share of 12.5%. That was the rate which was applicable. Now, some of the issue has arisen that in such cases, cost of acquisition cannot be computed because the shares were acquired in a manner where bonus etc. are there. And some people have given an advice that here computation mechanism is failing, and in case computation mechanism fails, then capital gain cannot be computed, and then applying Supreme Court judgment of Srinivas Shetty or judgment, if the computation mechanism fails, then there cannot be any tax. So some people have claimed exemption and they have not paid taxes. This promoter who has come with an IPO, he was having an income of 200 crore rupees because of this. They did not declare it. Search was, and department came to know search 60%. Now, revenue's contention is that since this income has not been disclosed, this is an undisclosed income and we are going to tax it. Now, fortunately for the SSC, last week this matter was being argued in the Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court. The Lucknow bench has quashed the search proceeding. They say their satisfaction note does not lead to any indication that the person has conceived the income. And that's why your search is illegal and that they have quashed it out. What happened to Supreme Court, there's a matter. Now why I'm saying to you is that in case you have any income which is your claiming exemption, deduction, capital gain, etc. and per chance if you do not declare it, then this can land you in a big difficulty with this 60%. I am aware of many people claiming some income, I am not filing, I am not declaring it, capital gain, etc. The challenge will be, now take a case, 54 and 54F. You have a capital gain and 54F and you claim, say, I have sold out a property for 7 crore or 8 crore rupees or some assets, and then you have bought a house for 9 crore rupees and you are eligible for 54F. And search is carried out unfortunately thereafter. In case this issue would have arisen in the normal course, at best it would have been 12.5% plus surcharge. Now capital gain long term is almost 12.5, 15% after surcharge. But now in case this gentleman is searched and this gentleman had nothing to do with anything else, he happened to be a chief CFO or an accountant of a company which has been searched. There is a possibility when search is carried out, accountant को, CFO को, उसके chief executive को पकड़ लेते हैं, साथ में उसकी भी search हो जाती है. And now this person is got caught and issue arises of 54F and go back to definition of block or undisclosed income which is found to be incorrect. Or the moment it is found to be incorrect, he says block assessment, अब आपके capital gain के 9 करोड़ रुपए ऊपर मैं 60% का टैक्स लगाऊंगा. Am I right or not? I hope you agree with you have understood my example, or should I come back again? नहीं समझ में आया है जी? एक आपका क्लाइंट है जो एक अच्छी बड़ी फैक्ट्री चला रहा है, टर्नओवर 2-4-500 करोड़ की, घपला भला को जो भी करता है, उसका कोई एक अच्छा सीनियर अकाउंट्स ऑफिसर है, वो बेचारा अपनी नॉर्मल रिटर्न भरता है जो भी करता है, और उसने अपना कोई जो भी शेयर वेयर में इन्वेस्टमेंट की थी, जो किया था, और 54F में एग्जम्पशन क्लेम कर ली, कैपिटल गेन लॉन्ग टर्म अराइजिंग फ्रॉम एन असेट अदर देन द रेजिडेंशियल हाउस, कैपिटल असेट। सपोज करो उसको कैपिटल गेन हुआ, वो असेट बिकी 9 करोड़ रुपए, 10 करोड़ से ऊपर तो अलाउड नहीं है आज की डेट में, और उसने वो 9 करोड़ रुपए से एक घर खरीदी, अपनी उसने रिटर्न भर दी, असेसमेंट ईयर 22-23 मान ली, और 9 करोड़ रुपया उसने लिखा 54F में मैंने ये घर बेचा और ये 9 करोड़ रुपए का मेरा टेंशन हो गया। अब मालिक क्या सर्च हो गई, मालिक क्या सर्च हुई तो इसके हम भी पहुंच गए। मैं बीडी में नहीं जा रहा, मैं बीसी में चला रुक जाता हूँ, इसके हम भी सर्च कर दी कि भी शायद होगा मालिक का, इसके यहाँ कुछ नहीं मिला, लेकिन बीसी का नोटिस तो आ जाएगा इसको भी। इसने रिटर्न भर दी अपनी 6 साल की, साहब ये मेरी इनकम डिस्क्लोज, ये दिल भरेगा डिस्क्लोज इनकम, मेरी ये रिटर्न में सारी फाइल है, कर देगा। अब असेसिंग ऑफिसर इसकी रिटर्न लेके बैठ जाएगा, कहेगा 54F में साबित करो आपके कितने मकान हैं। वो कहेगा साहब एक मेरा मकान फ्लैट मेरे नाम है, एक मेरे इंसेस्टर में मिला था, मेरा शेयर है उसके अंदर। वो कहेगा तुम्हारे एक से ज़्यादा मकान है, 54 के लिए यू वर नॉट एलिजिबल एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, और आपने ये इनकरेक्ट क्लेम है आपको। अब मैं अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम की डेफिनेशन में जाऊँ दोबारा से वहाँ पर, ये वर्ड यूज किया हुआ इनकरेक्ट। एनी एक्सपेंस, एग्जम्पशन, डिडक्शन और अलाउंस क्लेम अंडर दिस एक्ट विच इज फाउंड टू बी इनकरेक्ट। इस बेचारे का कुछ नहीं मिला और कुछ नहीं है। 54F का डिस्प्यूट हुआ, उन्होंने कहा भी ये इनकरेक्ट है। ये कहता साहब इनकरेक्ट है तो 15% लग जाना चाहिए मुझे कैपिटल गेन 12.5% का 9 करोड़ रुपए। वो कहेगा साहब मैं तो अब डिस्क्लोज इनकम की असेसमेंट कर रहा हूँ, मैं तो 9 करोड़ पे 60% लूंगा, और आपने रिटर्न भरी नहीं है, तो मैं आगे वाले प्रोविजन पे आ रहा हूँ। रिटर्न में आपने इसको डिस्क्लोज नहीं किया, क्योंकि ये तो डिस्क्लोज करेगा नहीं, अब एडमिट तो करेगा नहीं अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम में मेरी ये 50% की पेनल्टी हो गई है। Now I am posing a question just to, my question is not to say you being professional to analyze our mind and apply our mind where we are leading to, and that's why I say कि जो definition है undisclosed income की, how dangerous in case you काले शब्द आप कह रहे थे कि इतना बड़ा horizon बनाया है कि इंक्लूड करके लाया है, इस आदमी के यहाँ undisclosed income मानी जाएगी क्या? उसने रिटर्न भरी है, उसमें दिखाया मेरा ये लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन है और मेरा ये एग्जम्पशन बनती है 54F, लेकिन आप इसकी अब क्योंकि आप ब्लॉक असेसमेंट कर रहे हैं, आप कह रहे हैं साहब ये क्लेम इनकरेक्ट आपको बनता नहीं। Now there can be a situation कि किसी आदमी ने गलती से भी क्लेम कर लिया, हो सकता 2 ही मकान हो, 3 गलती कर लिया हो, और कर लिया तो 15% टैक्स नहीं, तो यहाँ तो 60% टैक्स में आएगा। Now this is the situation which I was just coming back now on this point. अब ये आपको बताना पड़ेगा किस हेड के अंदर है। यहाँ तक तो फिर भी चल जाता, चलो बता रहे कि सैलरी की ईयर वाइज इनकम है। अब अगला पॉइंट कौन बताएगा सर, इसका जवाब कहाँ से आएगा? अब ये भी बताइए जो आपने अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम बताई है वो कितनी कैश में किस साल से बिलोंग करती है। आपके पास कैश मिला है 2 करोड़ रुपए का, तो आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि 2 करोड़ का कैश किस ईयर से परटेन करता है, और वो इसका रिकंसिलिएशन पहले वाले चार्ट से करना है। आपने नीचे पढ़ा शेटर टोटल ऑफ हेडवाइज डिस्क्लोज इनकम आइटम 6, ये नजर आ रही है। अब नीचे लिखिए मनी कितनी मिली, बुलियन कितनी मिली, ज्वेलरी कितनी मिली, अदर वैल्यूएबल आर्टिकल, एक्सपेंडिचर, इनकरेक्ट क्लेम ऑन अकाउंट एक्सपेंडिचर, डिडक्शन, अलाउंस, इंटरनेशनल स्पेसिफाइड इनकम हेड्स ऑन एनी अदर एंट्री, एनी अदर, टोटल ऑफ दीज आइटम्स should match with the reconcile with the पार्ट 6 ऑफ पार्ट 6 ही है, तो पूरा अर्थमेटिक बना के देना पड़ेगा। अब रिजल्ट क्या होगा, जैसे सेटलमेंट कमीशन में एप्लीकेशन लगती थी ना, ऐसी लगेगी, लेकिन एक एडवांटेज होगा, टेलीस्कोपिंग ऑटोमेटिकली आएगा। आई होप यू विल एग्री विद टेलीस्कोपिंग। मीनिंग देयर बाई, अगर आपके यहाँ आप ये कहते हो कि भाई मैंने बिजनेस में हर साल 1 करोड़ रुपया कमाया और ये 6 करोड़ का जो कैश मिला है, ये 6 करोड़ का कैश वो 6 साल का है, 6 करोड़ का है, तो यू कैन से कि हियर प्रॉफिट एंड गेन ऑफ बिजनेस 1.6 ईयर, एंड देन यू कैन से 6 करोड़ रुपीज मनी इज हियर। This is the agriculture. But the challenge will be whether the assessing officer will agree with it, whatever your computation is coming out. अब आपने सेल परचेज की 100 करोड़ परचेज, 105 करोड़ रुपीज सेल्स, you include say 5 crore rupees in it. Now, can the assessing officer say कि you will say कि I will, he say I will treat your 105 crore rupees as sale, expenditure में मानता नहीं है. But I believe this can be to the advantage of the assessee also, to be fair to the revenue also on this point, that this can be an advantageous position also, but one has to make a declaration on that part also. ये बहुत compute calculation. So, return, when you are computing and disclose income, you need to be reasonably sure how it is to be computed. और ये पूरा जैसे settlement commission में application लगती थी, you have to make out a complete description how you have earned income, in what form it is represented, to which year it pertains, and how you are saying in these figures. And there can be then, of course, a dispute also with the assessing officer. That subject matter is separate. Now, how much time do you have? Oh, अभी है? I hope you are. मैं आपको बीच में कर. Now, there is a limitation also how the assessment is to be completed. As I said, 2 months period is given to you to file the return of income, and 1 month extension can be given by the assessing officer further. And assessment is to be completed within 1 year, in 12 months, from end of the quarter in which search has been carried out. In my example, which I have taken, 2nd June 25 with the search, quarter will end in June 25, 30th June. Assessment has to be completed by 30th June 2026. लेकिन अगर आपने 1 महीने का पीरियड एक्स्ट्रा मांग लिया रिटर्न फाइल करने का, तो then he will, that 1 month, 13 months will be level, then it will be 31st July 2026. In addition thereto, till the date the documents are handed over to the assessing officer by the investigation wing, that period will also get excluded, subject to maximum 180 days. We are assuming these 180 days will invariably be applicable in all cases. So we are assuming that it is not 1 year, it is 1.5 years from the date of the, and from the end of the quarter in which the search has been carried out. So it is that 18 months period that will be available for that purpose. This is the, I believe, the limitation period which has been approved. And this order has to be passed again with the approval of the additional commissioner, and cannot be passed by a person less than the deputy commissioner, but with the approval of additional commissioner. And same what is happening today as on date in 153 and C assessment, approval by the additional commissioner has to be with application of mine. I hope you are aware of the various judgment coming from, and that in case assessing additional commissioner has given an approval from application of mine is not coming out, then all those assessments have been quashed. I hope you are aware of this. All such assessment is getting quashed every day on each in the court where it is concerned. Delhi Tribunal, Delhi High Court, etc. They are very clear on that very first issue on the issue. And as against this, Punjab and High Court is very kind enough on Yao versus Pao. Judicial assessing officer versus faceless assessing officer. Any notice issued 148 by the judicial assessing officer is not a good notice because it has to be by the faceless assessing officer. Now, sir, it's very difficult to predict how the things will go. One day when the arguments were going in the Supreme Court, it was almost the appeal of revenue was going to be dismissed. But somehow it got adjourned now. Let's see how the things go on. There are, I believe, if not more, 4 judge issues are before the Supreme Court which are very critical, looking from the assessee perspective. One is a DIN, which is a issue which is going on, Brendix's judgment, which is subject matter of the issue which is there. Another is Jao versus Fau. Then there is a judgment of August medical, which is also before the Supreme Court on that issue. And fourth, which is what we call this is Roka bathroom. That judgment on whether in the case of where reference has been made to transfer pricing officer, the limitation will be available as under 153 or get extended as administrative 144C on that part. So this fourth judgment is likely to be pronounced immediately after vacation in July 2nd or 3rd week. And frankly, we are not hopeful that this judgment will come in SSC's favor. Something may on that issue. Now, search has been carried out on the person. Now, what happened to the person who has other than the search person? Material दूसरे का भी मिलता है. Now, taking care from the 153C, the assessing officer will issue the notice to the other person also, and provision of section 158 exactly same provision will be applicable on the other person, only with one difference that abatement of the pending assessment will happen of those assessment which have abated on that day. Now take a case, keeping the same example of 2nd June 2025 is the date on which search has been carried out on a person. Now assessment of this person is completed on 31st December 2026. And assessing officer, while completing the assessment of this other such person, finds that certain entries in books of account, etc., which have been seized, pertain to Mr. X also. And then he issues notice to the other person in the month of January 2027. I hope you are getting my dates. I'm just trying to make out a visual example on that basis. Date of search originally 2nd June 2025. As we have just discussed, that limitation can go up to 31st December 2026. On that day, because normally assessment will be done at the end of the limitation period. And that time the assessing officer records the satisfaction and issues a notice in January 27. Now on January 27, whatever assessment have happened in between, now 23, 24 or 24, 25, those assessments will be completed because those will have become time barred by the time. Now those assessments will not get abated. What will get abated on that day, on January 27, will be assessment pending on that day. And in January 27, assessment pending can be 26, 27 or 25, 26, not 23, 24 or 24, 25. Now those assessments will not get abated, but will be part of the block. Because block is to be computed from 2nd June 2025, that will be the period. So 23, 24, 24, 25 will be part of the block. Now assessing officer giving the same example which I am now talking about. Now the example of capital gain which we were talking about in Gentleman 54. In scrutiny assessment that has been accepted. Now assessing officer gets a right again to make a block assessment. And now he says what will happen, whether he can tinker with those assessments which has been completed, even in 143.3. And if we say yes, we are giving a power to review of the assessing officer which is not available under that. Then again question will arise, which I will go to my definition of undisclosed income. You can tinker with completed assessment only when you get some material. In case you don't get any material, then you cannot tinker. Now this is a typical case where even after search the assessment has been completed validly. You have accepted purchases, you accepted sales, you accepted the GP rate, and nothing wrong has been found, and now you challenge is no, I don't agree with you. And the moment we come to a conclusion that he cannot tinker with it, the meaning and the definition of this undisclosed income get automatically read down. This is one debate. But another issue which will arise, of course, will be whether the block period, those stated that it will be exactly same. In view of the present controversy which is going on, Justice Singh judgment which is there, which saying the block period of the other person will be different than the such person, I think that will again come back to the haunt of them. Now, as I said, when something is so difficult, there has to be something good also. As I said, this is another amnesty scheme which has been given by the department, though at a higher cost of 60%. Now, the law mandate in respect of a block assessment, no interest under section 234A, B, C, no penalty under 270. Now take a case. Just visualize a case. Assessment year 23-24 is going on. There is an allegation of bogus purchases. Income of 5 crore rupees is subject matter of 148 which is going on. And in case that assessment gets completed, assessee will be required to pay, assuming assessment at 2021 because that will give a little better example. 2021, 5 crore rupees allegation of income escaping assessment going on, 148. Assessee has no defense whatsoever. Now, in case this assessment goes on under section 148 as it is, what will be the liability? Assuming tax rate 30% on 5 crore, 1 crore 50 lakh will be a tax. Assessment year 2021 and getting in 25, 72% will be the interest on this. And then how much will be the penalty? 278, misreporting? 200%. So how much tax he will be ending up? 1.5 crore plus 1 crore, 2.5 crore and plus 3 crore penalty. 5.5 crore on 5 crore. Fortunately, search is carried out on this gentleman. That's why I am saying fortunately, because I will come back to the example I am using the fortunately. Search is carried out. This assessment will get affected. And this gentleman immediately in the column which is there, in particular here is a 5 crore is this income. And here is the 3 crore rupees tax and you get out of it. Nothing will happen. All penalty goes, all interest goes. No prosecution.
That is why
That's why I say something is here and something is there. This section 234 A, B, C, etc. Okay. Now I will come back to my another example later on. Now this is 158 BFA. It says on undisclosed income, even when the assessing officer assesses the income, no interest will be there. But only one condition is that return should have been filed in time. I will just write to please read these words. Where the return of undisclosed income from the block period in respect of such initiated so and so requisition after first as required by a notice under section so and so is not furnished within the time specified in such notice or is not furnished, assessee shall be liable to pay simple interest at the rate of 1.5%, that is 18%. And only requirement is return file. जरूरी नहीं है undisclosed income declare करना. Search हो गई है, notice आ गया, तो only thing is that you just file the return. Nil will also be acceptable. But delay हो गया तो ये interest का matter होगा. From the date when the return was due till the date assessment is completed. So no interest otherwise, even though that. And then the second part is important. It says आपने जो रिटर्न भरी, अब वो मेरे वाली एग्जांपल में 5 करोड़ में आपने 3 करोड़ रुपए की इनकम मानी, अब और असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने उसको 4 करोड़ बना दिया, तो ये कह रहा है 3 करोड़ के ऊपर पेनल्टी नहीं लगेगी. शर्त क्या है? नो ऑर्डर पेनल्टी मीन 1 करोड़ के ऊपर 50% पेनल्टी यानी 30%. So at best dispute with assessing officer if you have filed the return in time विल बी, आपने जो एडमिट की उसमें 60% टैक्स, जो आपने एडमिट नहीं की असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने बना दी उसके ऊपर 50% की पेनल्टी, यानी 90% टैक्स। स्टिल यू आर लेस देन 100% ऑफ द इनकम। 10% बच के भी जाएंगे, फिर भी अभी बच के जाएंगे। लेकिन बेनिफिट क्या है? नो ऑर्डर कंपोजिंग द पेनल्टी अंडर सेक्शन शैल बी, क्या क्या छूट मिलती है? इतना खतरनाक प्रोविजन है 270 फाल्सिफिकेशन ऑफ बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, जिसमें 100% पेनल्टी टर्नओवर की लगती है। आज की डेट में बहुत सारे आपने देखा होगा जो 1/4/23 के बाद की जो 22 के बाद की जो एडिशन हो रही है बोगस परचेज और सेल्स की, दिस नोटिस इज इनवेरिएबली बी गिवन फॉर पेनल्टी 271 100%। आपकी 70 में पेनल्टी अलग लगाएगा, बट 270 में दैट्स 100% ऑफ द टर्नओवर, नो पेनल्टी। कैश में सेल परचेज करिए, कोई पेनल्टी नहीं, 271 नाउ द लॉ सेज more than 2 lakh or more you cannot accept in cash sales. 270 DA no penalty, 271 लोन के लेने देने की कोई नो पेनल्टी, or you get a complete solution. Such purpose has furnished a return, tax payable on such return has been paid, which will include cash और money seized by the department, और जिसका लेटर आपने डिपार्टमेंट को दे दिया एडजस्ट कर देगा। This is another concession which has been given. जब ये प्रोविजन आया तो मैंने सोचा ये किसी का टेलर मेड प्रोविजन है। One of my long experience in the reading this budget and finance bill etc. indicates and suggests me, give me an idea. बहुत सारी अमेंडमेंट ऐसी हैं कि उसने बनाई जिसके पाँव में वो पिन चुप हो, वो अपना रास्ता निकालने के लिए उसने कहा ये होना चाहिए। और कुछ एग्जाम्पल मैं दे सकता हूँ जो बहुत लाइव है। एक पहले माई सीनियर मेंबर में भी नोइंग कि 80C की एग्जम्पशन पीएफ की और एनएससी की उसमें मिलती कि हुआ है पेड आउट ऑफ द करंट ईयर इनकम, तो बहुत डिस्प्यूट होते हैं कि ये तो आपने एफडी पुरानी कैश करा के दे दी और डिडक्शन नहीं मिलेगा। एक बार यशवंत सिन्हा जी के साथ ऐसा हो गया था, तो जब वो फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर बने सबसे पहले उन्होंने उस अमेंडमेंट को किया। इंडिया में स्टेट ड्यूटी होती थी, डेथ ड्यूटी जिसे इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स कहते हैं, जो आज की डेट में दोबारा चर्चा हुआ है। वीपी सिंह जी महाराजा होते थे किसी जमाने फैमिली थी, तो उनको किसी जमाने में बहुत तंग किया होगा। तो जब वो राजीव गांधी की सरकार में 84 के बाद फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर बने, उन्होंने जिस दिन पहला बजट पेश किया, नॉर्मली बजट के प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल होते हैं 1 अप्रैल से या 1 मई से, वो टीडीएस वगैरह वाले। He made a point out a state duty abolished on the day when the budget was presented. एक सेक्शन है जो कभी आज तक पढ़ा नहीं गया, न पढ़ा जाता होगा। एक कैपिटल गेन में 54 इफ आई एम करेक्ट HI सेक्शन आया 7 से 8 साल पहले। उसमें लिखा कि कोई घर बेचता है और एक नई कंपनी बनाता है, फैक्ट्री बना लेगा तो उसकी एग्जम्पशन मिल जाएगी। I was wondering, घर बेच के फैक्ट्री चलाएगा? I couldn't make it out. अब मुझे लगा किसी जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी का कहीं लगा होगा, चक्कर चला हुआ, उसने उसको भी था। अनदर प्रोविजन 45(5)(a) सिंपल कैपिटल गेन है। आपने एक मकान है 200 गज का, आपने बिल्डर को दे दिया बनाने के लिए, एक फ्लैट उसको दे दिया, तो 25% आपकी लैंड बिक गई, उसके कॉस्ट ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन आपके अकाउंट में आ गई, बट उस आदमी को लगा नहीं है तो तकलीफ का कारण है। He says capital gain will be chargeable to tax on the circle rate of the entire in the year in which completion certificate. उसकी प्रॉब्लम थी कि किस साल में चार्ज होने वाला था। Now this has created problem for all individual HF. And how the tailor-made amendment is applicable only individual HF in respect of registered agreement. I'm just wondering, क्योंकि there was no need and nothing required in that. तो ये जो प्रोविजन आया है, जो ब्लॉक असेसमेंट का, मैंने आपको शुरू में कहा कि ये इसकी लाइफ मुझे बहुत लंबी नजर नहीं आती है। उसका कारण यही है ये इतनी बड़ी एमनेस्टी निकल कर आई है जिसके अंदर लगेगा। अब आपने रिटर्न भर दी और आपने उसका जितना टैक्स, आपका जो कैश सीज हुआ वो आपने जमा करा दिया, पे कर दी, और उसकी अपील नहीं करेंगे उस पोर्शन की। ये भी अमाउंट पूरा दिया है। अब मेरे वाले एग्जांपल में 4 करोड़ वर्सेस 3 करोड़ में, तो आप 3 करोड़ की तो अपील करेंगे नहीं, 1 करोड़ की अपील करेंगे। और वैसे भी जब मैंने डिस्क्लोज कर दी तो मेरी अपील सस्टेनेबल कहाँ से है? Once I have filed a return of undisclosed, so where is the need to appeal filed or not filed? I cannot challenge it in the bill. I will challenge only that part of the issue which is against me only. If I have admitted, then I cannot go back on my words on that issue. So there is complete amnesty which is coming out on this, that this will be not, there will be no tax on that part. Now, no immunity in case of belated. Now, these are the important facts to be noted. कि अगर आपने रिटर्न बिलेटेड फाइल किया, कितना ही टैक्स जमा करा दिया हो, तो आपको वो इम्यूनिटी नहीं मिलेगी कोई भी. बेनिफिट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ वॉलंटरी बैलेंसेस, वो पूरा का पूरा मिल जाएगा, आपका क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा. एंड पेनल्टी ऑन डिस्क्लोजर नॉट डिक्लेयर्ड इन द ब्लॉक रिटर्न, तो पेनल्टी लगेगी वो उसी पार्ट पे लगेगी जो आपने डिस्क्लोज नहीं किया उसके बारे में. नाउ आपने मेरे को पहला जो पीछे वर्ड बोला था कि भाई वो फॉर्चुनेट वाले बात है. अभी क्या हो रहा है, बहुत सारे लोगों के असेसमेंट चल रहे हैं, ना तकलीफ आई है. I hope you are, I am on the mic for recording this. If you are finding it difficult in some of the assessment which are too problematic, better to offer a such voluntarily and to get out of the problem, that can help you.
किसी वजह से सर्वे इनवाइट करते थे फिर लोग.
हाँ जी.
किसी वक्त सर्वे इनवाइट किया करते थे.
Now this is leading to a situation where I believe, despite all the well intention on the intended part, I will say in this scheme there are something good for it and there are something which is not there. But I am reasonably hopeful that this is going to be a Pandora box for litigation. You will ask me why it is so. One amendment was made in the year 2021 with one section 147. For the last 5 years, 93,000 in the 1 year writ was filed across India. This is a statement given by the none other than Additional Solicitor General before the Supreme Court. And after 5 years, today also, we are still grappling all those issues. What is 148 or not? And I am read 3 will again come back to haunt the revenue as well as assess. We use the word, what is disclosed can never be undisclosed. That's what we always used to say. Somewhere you cannot make an allegation against me, it is undisclosed. If I have filed a return, I have claimed particular exemption, you cannot come back and say it is incorrect. Now, आपने परचेज किया वो बोगस निकलती है, बाद में सप्लायर से पता लगता है बोगस, that can be a good concept, but not even otherwise on that part. Now, these are the challenges which are going on. I believe the self-department issue, and I am reasonably hopeful that over a period, few amendments will be made to fill in the gap, because as I said, that certain assessment in between will get missed out. From the revenue also, as I said, those assessments which get abated and there is no incrementing material for that part, it will be difficult for the revenue to revisit those issues. Now I can keep the house open in case some issues and questions are there on that part. If you like to ask on them, even related to any tax matters on that issue for that matter.
In the present scenario, what is the status search versus survey?
I couldn't get you.
Is search not better than the survey?
I believe so, yes. Search is better than survey. As on that, a person will be a far better place in case a search is carried out. As I said in one of the, just now I said that you can invite search. That will be better. In case a survey is carried out and you find that number 2 books of account for 4 or 5 years have been found where sale, purchases, various allegations are coming up, then better than to ask that there is a 11 lakh rupees cash lying at my house also, and let that cash be there, and the moment cash found is more than 10 lakh rupees, automatically survey get converted into search and you will be better placed on that. You will be better placed on that. I believe so.
Sir, you said that return has to be filed within a limitation period of 2 months. And even if we are not prepared, we can file the nil return. what will be the consequences? That means subsequently I will be revising my original return?
No, you can't revise the return,
हाँ जी.
and all these have to be tested on the initiation of the search. In case a return which is belated and which has not been filed, then it will be assumed that income declared is nil.
No, I have filed the return within the time. Nil return, let's say to meet the deadline. No, but I have to make certain disclosure.
No, but then you will get exposed to the penalties.
Then we'll get exposed to the penalty.
You will not be required to pay any interest.
Sir, फिर zero return file करना तो is very damaging then that means. Nil return, you said that you must file the return within 2 months even if nil return is to be filed.
No, suppose the question is, in case you within 2 months you have to file the return after getting a notice, I will see the person will be prudent enough that whatever income which has been now discovered and for which there is no answer, it will be better to declare that income and then pay 60% tax and get out of it. But for one reason or the other reason, a person is not in a position to determine the income, and if a person is or doesn't have the money to deposit the income which is there on that part, to save a situation of non-filing of return, because then you get exposed to the interest also. So one of the ways is that you file the nil return and that at least interest will not be leviable for the 2 years, 1.5 years where the assessment is going on.
So in case of bogus purchases, if bogus purchases are detected, so what would be the income? The purchases part or the GP part?
But these are all subjective issues. Now, by and large, in case there is a purchase and sale which are apparently coming out and bogus purchases, obviously gross profit rate, whatever rate, you will determine it out. Now, assessing officer may try to make out a higher income, but then you have to file an appeal for that part. Whatever you admit, that will get into. But there can be a case where a company is in manufacturing or assessee is manufacturing and certain purchases are bogus just to suppress the profit, then probably GP rate may not be applied.
So, but the stock release are being filed.
I agree. That's a question of fact only to be examined.
No, in case of companies, this is.
I think this question is now more coming on, I think, in this seminar, type of seminar, because of the few judgments which have come from Bombay High Court, where additions have been made of the total amount of the purchases. We have a Delhi High Court judgment in the case of La Medica on that part, which is also on the issue that total purchases should be added, because honors to claim expenditure under section 37(1) is on the assessee. Assessee has been paid to discharge that honor, the addition can be made on the totality. But still, I believe concept of real income cannot be ignored. Assessing officer, being an educating officer, he is also duty bound to compute a real income. In case the facts are apparently which are indicated, you will see, just read a very good judgment which is coming out from the Delhi High Court, I think day before only. It was, I think, circulated by Tax Sutra or somebody like this on issue. There the allegation was a person has made 115 crore rupees of sale, if I am correct, and 103 crore rupees of purchases, and had declared 12 crore rupees of income. Assessing officer allegation was that these purchase sales are bogus, and on that basis he added 12 crore rupees more applying GP rate. Then the court said, firstly you are treating the sale and purchase are bogus, and then you are adding income. What is this? And even if it is a sale purchase, but 12 crore rupees he has already added, he has declared that income. Now why more? So I believe it all depends on the facts, particular fact. Secondly, it depends how it is pleaded. And thirdly, how is the mind of the judge who accepts your argument and how is placed. That's also important.
But actually, the purchases bogus का क्या है, stock can be filed in India. तो जब purchases है तो stock sale में से वो सब चीजें निकालनी पड़ेंगी ना. तो if the purchases are.
I agree, but एक क्वेश्चन जो मैंने इसमें स्लाइड में लास्ट में आपको दिखाया नहीं है, अगर वो लास्ट वाला पूछेंगे तो सबसे बड़ा ये क्वेश्चन है. आप जब इनकम टैक्स की रिटर्न भर देंगे और डिस्क्लोज इनकम को एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे, 60% टैक्स जमा करा देंगे, तो ये जीएसटी वाले भी आपके पीछे होंगे. दिस इज द क्वेश्चन व्हिच आई जस्ट question, the moment you accept turnover or something like this, and the will be, this problem will also be. So one need to be very careful, and I will just say this now is, the way digitization has happened, the way networking has happened between GST and income tax, and the way it is a real-time data availability, now arranging bill, purchase, sale of expenses is next to impossible. I believe all those people who are indulging it, or a businessman or otherwise who are doing this, they are living in a fool's paradise. Today or tomorrow they are going to be in big difficulty on that point. So my strong advice will be to advise the client that not to indulge in arranging this bogus bill, purchase, sales, etc. whatever. Some people are ignorant, they just carry on the business. I have seen fabric trade, clothes, garments, etc. people are doing this. Now with the GST and income tax networking being there, it is impossible. You will find a scrutiny notice of assessment coming out, not because something is wrong with your return. It is because the people who have shown higher return turnover in GST have not filed the income tax return, or have filed the return showing lesser turnover. And on that basis, their GSTR 1 is picked up. From there, your name it gets identified, and then you are issued a notice that you have made purchases from those people who have declared turnover in GST more than their income tax return. Accordingly, your purchases are not genuine. And people are really finding difficult to answer these type of questions.
Well, sir, there are actual instances when people sell property and does not want purchases. So they issue bill to me.
So, I will say now the era of getting accommodation bill is over. People do say, but I am not getting the bill, etc. I say, this is, nobody can answer it now. The era that you get an accommodation bill, and secondly, responsibility of KYC is on the person who is making sale, who is making purchases. You cannot say that KYC is not my responsibility. You have to make sure the bill you are getting is of the person from whom you are actually making purchases. That's the issue.
बोगस सेल परचेज का तो बहुत ही ड्रास्टिक जो 100% पेनल्टी
that penalty which I was talking about, that's
falsification of accounts
is unbearable. See, now the type of appeal which you are getting in our office are really painful. A person walking into our office with a 1100 crore rupees of penalty of cash sales. 1100 crore rupees of cash sale in the 5 years. Now there is no answer. 269 ST. He has made sales of more than 2 lakh rupees because that data, daily data was available. Now income you can deal with, all other issues you can deal with it. The problem is cash sales. How you will get out of that? This has become really painful. I am just wondering it out. We were talking to the gentleman how to ring fence you now from the recovery. Because the major challenge will be department will be nowadays. So now how to create a ring fencing so that he can survive the next 3-4 years when the litigation is on.
ये तो मेरे को लग रहा है जी इनकम टैक्स के इतने बैड डेट्स हो जाएंगे कि ये राइट ऑफ भी कोई नहीं कर सकेगा. इतनी बड़ी अमाउंट ना तो पे कर सकेगा, ना डिपार्टमेंट राइट ऑफ कर सकेगा. ये तो आई डोंट नो व्हाट विल बी द फेट ऑफ सच डिमांड्स. बहुत ही ज्यादा इतनी हाई पिच असेसमेंट है इन केसेस में, इतनी ह्यूज डिमांड्स हैं.
I do agree, but now the challenge is from both sides, I will say. Now another interesting aspect probably you would have noticed or not noticed. What will happen to 115 BBE now? 60% is better than 78%. Because here there is no distinction on the income. So you are getting a rebate in a way. 30 getting 60 is a higher tax, but 78 getting converted to 60 is a rebate on the search. So benefit of another search is 115 BBE, there is no 115 BBE. Any other questions you like to have on this issue? Can you finish it up now? Thank you friends, has been a pleasure. अमृतसर आने का मन बहुत करता था और काफ़ी कोशिश भी करी, बहुत सारा इन्विटेशन भी कई बार लगे, लेकिन ये जो प्रेसिडेंट मीट हुई तो मैंने सोचा कि मैं ब्रांच से इंटरेक्शन जरूर करना चाहिए। तो मेरी ये हमेशा इच्छा रहती है कि वेयर एवर ट्रैवल एटसेट्रा, इफ टाइम परमिटिंग आई शुड टॉक एंड इंटरेक्ट। तो आज की जो मीटिंग जो मैंने शुरू में कही, मैं थैंक कम्प्लीमेंट टू द ब्रांच चेयरपर्सन एंड द एंटायर टीम फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग दिस प्रोग्राम स्पेसिफिकली एट माई सजेशन, एट माई रिक्वेस्ट। Normally तो होता है रिवर्स होता है, this was at my request this program was organized and I've tried my best to reach out and to work it out the various issue on the search and seizure matter. It has been a little clear and in case you still have any issues you can just ask me later on. Thank you friends.
Huge round of applause our speaker. Thank you Jain sir for enlightening and insightful session. We are truly honored by your presence and guidance on this subject matter. Forward and deliver a vote of thanks to our speaker of the day.
You have spent your time from the president meet, and we are fortunate that you have yourself requested the branch for this evening seminar, but we have gained a lot from your deliberation. The concept of new search and seizure regime is really the way you have explained is wonderful. And it is a kind of permanent amnesty, as you have told. You have time and again told that, sir, you have time and again told that this is a permanent amnesty and it is better to invite the search team. But you have not told. Yes. Jain sir, you have time and again told that it is now good to go to the income tax department and invite them for the search. But you have not told the ways to invite them. How we can invite them? Whether we have to.
Now I told you how to convert survey into search, and see from where do we learn? We learn from the clients. The knowledge comes from seminar like this only. What happens in election days, if you are traveling in a car and you are carrying 2 lakh rupees of cash and policeman gives you on red light and says, stop your car, I want to search your car, look into, then you say 2 lakh rupees line, to say seizure memo, and income tax immediately phone will go to income tax. Search is done.
Even if there is no election.
That's a search.
Even if there is no election.
I need not tell how it is done. It's so simple.
It is.
You stop at the red light and the policeman checks your car and then that's enough for the income tax.
That is great. That is good to invoking 132A ourselves. So I, on behalf of everyone present here, the CAs.
I think let's see.
Yeah.
I complimented you and did my thanks to you for organizing this program, but I must do it now in your presence. Chairperson and Vice Chairperson both, my sincere thanks to you for organizing this program. I was telling all my members here that this program has been organized at my request, and you were kind enough to oblige me and to organize this program. Idea was to get a feel about what the fraternity is doing, how we are doing in profession. So I will, in next 10-15 minutes, I will be interacting, trying to reach out to the members and to find out what is happening and how it is going on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, members. Very good evening to all of you. It's a sincere apology from my side. You might be aware that all the past presidents of ICI are in Amritsar. And since morning we are busy with them. अभी भी 7 बीस पे VP sir आए हैं. We were at the airport to pick them. हम उनको बस ताज में drop करके तो यहाँ पे आए। आप लोगों को देख के मुझे इतनी खुशी हो रही है, मुझे समझ ही नहीं लग रही इतने शॉर्ट नोटिस पे ये सेमिनार अरेंज हुआ। सर हमने कमेटी से अप्रूवल बाद में ली हुई, हमने फ्लायर पहले पोस्ट कर दिए। और मैंने साहिल को बोला, साहिल मेंबर्स वुड बी अवेयर अबाउट इट कि मैसेज फ्लोट कर दो, टेक्स्ट मैसेज फ्लोट कर दो ताकि मेंबर्स को पता लग जाए। देन रोहित सर कॉल्ड मी माय ब्रदर, फिर तू ये करना है। मैं इट्स योर ब्रांच, योर प्लेटफॉर्म, you happy, I am happy. If members are happy with such kind of interactive sessions, तो सर मुझे और क्या चाहिए? We are just instrumental in organizing, and this is really amazing that all come out. And सर मेरी आज सांस सूखी पड़ी है, मैं सुबह से ना बस घूम ही रही हूँ। But यहाँ पे आके मुझे ऐसे लगा है, I came back to my home. All the members are sitting, listening. Sincere thanks to all of you. और कालिया सर ने जब रोहित सर का सेमिनार अटेंड किया था, अजय भैया भी थे वहाँ पे, तो कहते नहीं नहीं ऋतु सी आवागे तू अटेंड कर। मैंने कहा सर बड़े शॉर्ट नोटिस पे हो जाएगा। So I am really thankful to all of you from bottom of my heart, and thank you once again. We love each other, we learn from each other. And this is the platform we are honored to have our past president CA Ved Jain जी। सर देखिए वेद जैन जी ने तो आज डेलिब्रेट किया, and it's again honor for Amritsar branch on 16th. Past president of ICI Atul Gupta ji is coming today. He is in Amritsar. He deliberated in the IT bar. On 16th he is deliberating in Amritsar. And since the chain of education, commitment, connections, love, spread, harmony will keep flowing with all of your blessings. Thank you so much sir. It's all your blessings we are here, so keep showering your blessings. बच्चे यहाँ छोटी बहन हूँ सर, कोई गलती हो गई तो माफ़ी कर देना। बाकी my team is very helpful. राघव, साहिल, दीक्षा, शशि जी, कंवर सर, ऑल स्पोर्टिंग बनेगा सर। मेरे को थोड़ा मुश्किल लग रहा है क्योंकि मेरे को इंस्टीट्यूट से प्रोटोकॉल आया है कि वीपी सर को तो ब्रांच का चेयरपर्सन ही जाएगा। मैंने कहा आप लोग यार आज स्टेज संभालूँ, कहते मैम आप जाओ। मैंने कहा मैं आऊँगी ज़रूर। मैं ताज में ड्रॉप किया है तो मैंने कहा नहीं, माई फर्स्ट फोरमोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट ड्यूटीज टुवर्ड्स माई ब्रांच ऑल्सो। फर्स्ट सॉरी, थैंक यू सो मच।
Sir, this is your magic that the hall is full to its deepest. And I, on behalf of everyone present here, on behalf of branch, thank Ved Jain sir for giving his valuable time to us and making us known to the new provisions of the search and seizure and its assessment. Last but not the least, I will also thank all the members present here who have spared their valuable time as set by our chairperson at the shortest possible time. Thank you very much, sir.
I must say, Jain sir's presence alone was more than enough to elevate the event.
Sorry to interrupt you, just one more information. I will request humbly to all my colleagues here to use technology in their working profession. Instead of paper and all those documents, you can just work it on some software. All the documents are there. I was just telling it, all my office is here. This is one software, Liquid Text, I am using it. I am not conversing for it. You will find that everything can be done here, everything is available. Whenever I am arguing any matter, whether it is Supreme Court, High Court, or is that, I don't carry anything other than this. This is, and you can read, you can write, you can collect, all is available. Just only one request. Thank you.
I must say, Jain sir's presence alone was more than enough to elevate the event. His aura, experience made this session truly unforgettable for all of us. Now, I would request executive team to present a memento to our prominent speaker. I would.
It's such a pleasure to see you. Very nice.
Sahil?
सामने
Now I request everyone to stand for national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you.